There is a Medicaid program that pays for in-home caregivers, home modifications, transportation, and equipment, and most disabled Americans have no idea it exists. It is called an HCBS waiver, and the reason nobody told you about it is because every state runs its own version. The application process is buried, and the waiting lists in some states stretch for years. I have spent the last several years navigating the disability system, and I am telling you right now, this one program can change your life if you can get on it. So let me walk you through what it actually is and how to find yours. HCBS stands for Home and Community-Based Services. The whole point of the program is to keep disabled people and seniors out of nursing homes and institutions by paying for the support they need to live in their own homes. Before HCBS waivers existed, if you needed daily help bathing or cooking, your only option for Medicaid to cover it was a nursing facility. The waiver program flips that on its head. It says, we will pay for the same care, but in your house, on your terms. Here's what an HCBS waiver can actually pay for, and the list is going to surprise you. Personal care attendants who help with bathing, dressing, and transfers. Home health aides for medication management. Respite care so your family caregiver can take a break. Home modifications like ramps, widened doorways, and roll-in showers. Adaptive equipment Medicare will not touch. Non-medical transportation, meal delivery. Even certain types of assistive technology. Some states cover service animals. Some states cover therapy that traditional Medicaid considers optional. The catch, and there is always a catch, is that HCBS waivers are not entitlements. Regular Medicaid is an entitlement, meaning if you qualify, you get it. HCBS waivers have slot limits set by each state. When the slots are full, you go on a waiting list. Some states like Florida, Texas, and Tennessee have waiting lists that are 5, 10, even 15 years long for certain waivers. Other states like Vermont and Oregon have much shorter lists. The state you live in matters more than almost any other factor in your disability life, and most people do not realize that until it is too late. Each state typically runs multiple HCBS waivers, and they target different populations. There is usually a waiver for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, a separate waiver for adults with physical disabilities, another for the aging population, a specific one for traumatic brain injury survivors. Some states have waivers for autism, for HIV, for medically fragile children. The eligibility rules, the income limits, and the services covered are different for every single waiver. So when somebody tells you, I am on a waiver, that does not actually tell you much. There is no one HCBS program. There are hundreds across the country. If this is the first time anyone has actually explained the HCBS waiver system to you, hit that subscribe button. I am Jason. This is Rolling Disaster, and I cover the things the disability system buries under jargon. Stay with me, because the next part is the most important. I am going to show you exactly how to find your state's waivers, what to ask for, and the trick that gets some people moved up the waiting list faster. Step 1 is finding your state's Medicaid agency website. Every state has one, but they are called different things. In some states, it is the Department of Health Services. In others, it is the Department of Human Services or the Department of Medical Assistance. Search the name of your state plus the words Medicaid waiver, and the official state agency page will be in the top results. Once you are on that page, look for a section called HCBS, Long-Term Services and Supports, or Community-Based Care. That is where the waivers are listed. Step 2 is calling the waiver intake line directly. Do not just submit a web form. Web forms get queued. Phone calls get logged. When you call, you want to ask 3 specific questions. Which waivers am I potentially eligible for based on my disability? What is the current waiting list length for each one? And how do I get assessed for medical necessity? Write down the name of who you talk to, the date, and the case number they assign you. Build a paper trail from the very first call, because every single thing in this system runs on documentation. Step 3 is requesting a level of care assessment. This is the medical evaluation that determines whether you need the same level of help as someone in a nursing home. The assessment is what gets you officially eligible for the waiver, and most states will not even put you on the waiting list until you complete it. The assessment usually involves a registered nurse coming to your home or doing a phone interview about your daily activities. Be honest. Do not minimize. If you have bad days, describe them. The assessment captures your worst function, not your best. Now here is the trick that nobody tells you. Many states have what they call a crisis waiver track or an expedited slot. If your situation changes, like a primary caregiver dies or becomes unable to provide care, or you are about to be discharged from a hospital with nowhere safe to go, you can request emergency placement on the waiver. The criteria are strict, but they exist in almost every state. If you qualify, you skip the waiting list entirely. Most case managers will not volunteer this information. You have to ask for it directly.
The other thing nobody tells you is that you can be on the waiting list for one waiver while actively receiving services from another. So if you are eligible for a waiver with a short waiting list right now, get on it.
Then apply for the bigger waiver with the longer list as a parallel track. Years later, when your name comes up, you transfer over. The disability system rewards people who treat applications like a long game and play offense from day one. The folks who wait until they are desperate are the ones who get stuck on the waiting list with no support. Drop a comment with the state you live in, because somebody else in your state is going to read it and find out their waiver options for the first time. If you got on a waiver and it changed your life, share what you wished you knew when you started. If you have been stuck on a waiting list for years, tell us how long. We are building the rule book the system never gave us, one comment at a time. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. This is Jason from Rolling Disaster.